There's this incredible concept called a farmer field school. It's a really powerful, hands on way for farmers to learn and innovate together right there in their own communities. It's a fantastic model, but here's the thing. Its success almost entirely depends on getting the very first step absolutely right. So today, that's what we're going to dig into.
So, to really get why that beginning is so crucial, you gotta see the whole picture. The Farmer Field School, or FFS for short, follows this really clear four-phase life cycle. It all kicks off with the groundworking phase, which is all about preparation. Then you move into group formalization, where they set their own rules. Next is the learning phase, that's the hands-on part. And it all wraps up with a follow-up phase to make sure the success sticks.
Okay, so it sounds like a pretty solid, well thought out process, right? 4 clear steps. But that leads to a huge question. Why do some of these programs, with all this potential, just fall flat? Why do they fail? And here's the answer, and it's almost always the same. It's not a problem with the model itself, not at all. It's in the execution. Almost every time you can trace the failure back to one single thing. That first planning phase we just mentioned, it was rushed. People just didn't put in the time and care right where it mattered most. It really just boils down to a simple idea we all get. A strong foundation makes a strong house. It's as simple as that. And that first phase of the Farmer Field School, that is the foundation. If you try to build on shaky ground, you know what happens. The whole thing is at risk of coming down. So let's be super clear about what this groundworking phase is. It's literally everything that has to happen before the learning group even officially gets together. And it has 2 main jobs. First, you have to be a bit of a detective and diagnose what the community actually needs. And second, you have to get everyone prepped and ready for this very different, very hands-on way of learning. Okay, so how do you build that foundation the right way? Well, it breaks down into 3 absolutely critical activities. Let's start with the first one, researching the area. Now, before a facilitator even thinks about having a conversation with anyone in the community, they have to do their homework. A lot of it. This isn't about walking in with a bunch of pre-made solutions. No way. It's about taking the time to deeply understand the local context, the soil, the water, sure, but also the social dynamics, the local economy. You have to know the community before you can even begin to serve it. And check out how deep this research goes. We're talking way beyond just soil types. It's about mapping out the entire human ecosystem. Who were the real leaders here? What could get in the way, like a weekly market day? Are there signs of environmental stress? A facilitator isn't just looking for a plot of land. They're searching for fertile ground where a new idea can actually take root and grow strong. So once all that homework is done, it's time for the next big activity, engaging the community. This is that all-important first contact, and you absolutely have to get it right. And this, right here, is where so many programs make a huge mistake. The first impulse is to stand up and give a lecture or a presentation. That is the exact opposite of the FFS spirit. The goal of this first meeting is not to just throw information at people, it's to create an experience. You have to give them a little taste of what it actually feels like to learn this way. For example, here's a brilliant little exercise. A facilitator might ask everyone to just draw a spider. Then they put all the drawings up on a wall, and everyone looks around and sees, hey, that one has 6 legs, this one has 10, that one has 8. There's a little confusion, a little debate. Then the facilitator brings out a real spider. The whole group gathers around, they look at it together, and they all agree. It has 8 legs. Then the facilitator says, see that? We didn't need an expert. We discovered the truth ourselves just by looking and talking. That is how a farmer field school works. It's a lesson nobody will forget. Now, after that experience, it's time for some real talk. You have to be crystal clear about expectations. And FFS is a way to learn for farmers who are really committed to showing up and working together. What it is not is a place to get free stuff or a get-rich-quick scheme, and it's definitely not another top-down lecture. Getting this straight right from the beginning saves everyone a lot of headaches down the road. With that groundwork laid and everyone on the same page, we can finally move to the last major activity of this phase, identifying the right people and the right place. Now, when you're choosing participants, you're not just looking for the most successful farmers. You're looking for the most committed learners. You want people who live nearby, who are genuinely willing to show up for every single session, who want to share their ideas, and this is huge, who are motivated by learning, not by getting free stuff. It's all about finding people with the right attitude. And the learning site itself is just as critical. Yeah, it needs to be easy for everyone to get to. But the most important thing is that the site itself is a perfect example of the real problems everyone in the area is facing. And here's the best part. The facilitator doesn't choose it. The group decides together, democratically. This gives them ownership from day one.
So, after all this painstaking work, the research, the engagement, the careful selection, what have you actually built? Well, you've built a solid start. By not rushing, by taking the time to do this phase right, you've built that strong foundation we've been talking about. You end up with a group of people who get the process, who have realistic expectations, and who are genuinely excited to learn together. You've created the perfect fertile ground for a successful farmer field school to grow. And with that strong foundation firmly in place, the real work and the real fun can begin. You have your committed group, you have your site, everyone was ready, so the big question now is, how do they go from just being a collection of individuals to becoming a formal, functioning learning team? Well, that's the next step in the journey.